Hey guys, happy Monday night. So today we're just going to be doing, or I guess tonight rather, we're going to be doing a super chill flow. I'm in really comfy clothes. We probably won't even be getting into downward dog, so it's going to be really gentle, something you can do before bed. Maybe you just got off of work. Maybe you're just trying to wind down a little bit. So get comfortable. We're just going to go ahead and start in a seat. So you can start cross-legged on your knees, whatever feels good to you. And we're just going to begin by rolling out the neck a little bit, releasing some tension. So roll the shoulders up and back, down the back. So drawing them away from the ears. You can close your eyes or keep them open here to start. And then just start to roll the neck in whatever direction comes naturally to you. Nice and easy. So bringing the chin down to the chest. And then ear to shoulder, around the back, other ear to other shoulder. So making really slow circular movements. Maybe try going 4 or 5 times one direction, and then start to switch it up, moving the other way. Checking in with your breathing. Check in with your posture while we're in the seated position, so grounding down into the sit bones, sitting up nice and tall through the back of the spine. And whenever you've done 4 or 5 of those going each direction, go ahead and make your way back to neutral. And we're going to stretch it out a little bit more, so we're going to bring the right hand around the back, over, so palm open to the left hip, and then you're just going to clasp it with the left hand, drop the left ear to left shoulder. So you should feel a nice big stretch through the right side of the neck. Make sure you're really grounding down through that right sit bone, so it's easy to kind of want to pop up to the side here. Ground down through both sit bones as evenly as you can. Check in with that breathing. Maybe set an intention to set your breath to those areas of tightness. Almost pretend you can just send it directly to that area where you're feeling discomfort. And slowly bring the head back up, and we'll switch. So bringing the left palm this time over to the right hip, palm open, clasping it with the right hand, dropping the shoulders down, and then bringing that right ear to the right shoulder. So big stretch through the left side of the neck this time. Really ground down through that left sit bone. A few more breaths here. And inhale back up to center. And we're going to bring both hands out to the side now, tent the fingertips. We'll actually start with the left fingertips down, and while we're on this side, you can bring the right hand to the knee, or you can keep it on the ground, wherever you want. But we're going to drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Keep tenting through the left fingertips. If you want to intensify the stretch, you can bring the fingertips right off the mat, so just hovering. It gets really intense really fast though, so just take your time with it. I like to stay here for a few breaths and then maybe play with floating the fingertips off the mat. Check in with your breathing, make sure you're not holding your breath. If the fingertips are off the ground, slowly bring them back down to the mat. Return the neck to neutral. Switch out hands so you can keep the left hand on the ground if you want, or bring it to the left knee. Right fingertips are going to tent, and then we're going to drop the left ear slowly down to the left shoulder. So big stretch through the right side of the neck. you played with hovering the fingertips on the other side, maybe try it on this side. So find your edge in all of these stretches, but don't push anything to the point of pain. Slowly bring the fingertips back down to the mat if they're hovering. Neck returns to neutral. If the eyes are closed, you can go ahead and open them. Reset, lengthen through the spine, ground down through those sit bones. We're gonna do a few gentle twists, so bringing the right palm to the left knee. Left fingertips are gonna come slightly behind you. We're gonna sit up nice and tall again, so pretend there's a string attached to the ceiling and the crown of your head and you're being pulled upwards. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist, open to the left side, just nice and easy at first. So every inhale, see if you can reset, find that length through the spine. Every exhale, maybe you twist just a little bit deeper. Slowly inhale back through center, exhale, release everything. Shake it out for a second. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, left fingertips to right knee, right fingertips out behind you. Exhale into a gentle twist. So same thing, we're grounding down evenly through both sit bones. Every inhale, resetting, lengthening through the spine all the way up through the crown of the head. Every exhale, seeing if we can allow ourselves to melt into that twist just a little bit deeper. Slowly inhaling back to center. Exhale, release everything. Go ahead and bring the hands down onto the mat. Come onto the knees, and then we're going to tuck the toes and sit back onto our heels. Now, if bringing the hands off the mat is too much for you, you can always stay right here. You're going to feel a big stretch through the toes and the ball and like the center area of the foot. So we don't really pay attention to our feet too much, but we're normally on them all day. And mine are always really tight, so this is gonna get a little bit uncomfortable, and that's okay. But again, find your edge, so nothing should be painful. If you need to start here, that's fine. If you feel like you can start here, that's fine too. So just kind of adjust yourself to what your body needs. We're gonna be here for about a minute. So make sure you're breathing. Try and send that breath straight into the balls of your feet. Maybe you focus your gaze on something, or you can close your eyes. Almost make it like a mini meditation. Three more breaths here. And if the eyes are closed, you can slowly start to open them. Bring the fingertips back down to the mat, untuck the toes, and we're just gonna neutralize for a moment. So sitting back onto the heels, feet are flat on the ground, and then counteracting that motion, rocking back onto the toes. So big stretch through the top of the feet this time. You should feel a lot of release and kind of fresh blood moving back into the toes and the feet. Good. Go ahead and rock the knees back down. You can spread them wide, keep the big toes touching. We're just going to crawl the hands out straight into child's pose. So find your child's pose for a moment. Melt the chest down towards the mat. Hips are heavy, sinking back down towards the heels. And on an inhale, we're slowly going to crawl the fingertips over towards the left. See if you can reach your right fingertips a little bit further than those left ones. Exhale, melt down into the stretch. So you should feel a lot along the right side body. Inhale, work your way back through center, and then exhaling over to the other side. So left fingertips reaching a little bit further than the right. Big stretch along the left side body. Melt everything down towards the mat. Inhale, work your way back to center. Do a quick body scan, see how everything's feeling so far. On an inhale, we're gonna ground down through the palms, push back up into tabletop, bring the knees in so they're stacked directly under the hips, and we're just gonna move through a few cat-cows. So inhaling, dropping the belly, melting the chest forward, lifting the head, coming into cow. Exhale, reversing that motion, so pushing up and away out of the shoulders, rounding through the upper and the mid-back. Inhale, back into cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good. Find your way back to a neutral spine. Sit back onto your bum. Go ahead and bring the legs through, and we'll work our way down onto our backs. So we're just going to do some reclined leg stretches. You can go ahead and start by bringing the right foot or right leg long out in front of you. Left leg's going to come up towards the ceiling. If this is the first stretch you've done of the day for the back of the legs, start just by grabbing the back of the hamstring. So don't worry about grabbing for the feet. If this is really easy for you, you can always work your way down the leg. So maybe grabbing the calf or the shin, maybe the ankle, and if you're really flexible, you can always take peace fingers to big toes. But there's all different sorts of options there for you all, so wherever you're at right now. Make sure the foot is activated, so I like to flex mine and point my toes down towards my face. Kind of intensifies the stretch through the back of the leg. Every inhale, again, you're seeing if you can find that length through the back of the leg. Every exhale, maybe pulling it towards you just a little bit more. On an exhale, place the other hand, so your hand that you're not using, right hand on the right hip. Make sure it stays grounded down into the mat, and then begin to drop that left leg over to the side, so opening it up. If your hand was on your hamstring, you can always drop that elbow down and create a shelf with your arm, so you can let the leg come to rest in the palm of your hand. If it's on your toe, again, just kind of play with how far you can go, see where your edge is. There's always room to modify. If you have a strap at home, this is always a great stretch to use a strap for. Slowly inhale, engage the core, bring that leg back up, bend at the right knee. So right foot is down on the mat now. We're gonna bring that left foot just above the right knee, so coming into a figure four or a reclined pigeon. From here, you're gonna bring that right knee towards your chest, and I like to grab onto my shin right underneath my right knee, and then kind of use that left elbow to press that left knee away from you. So it's really easy to want to cave in that left knee towards your chest. Don't let that happen. Push it away from you. So squaring out through the hips, and then pull the right knee in towards you. Check in with your breathing. Use that breath, send it directly into those areas of tightness. So if you're feeling a lot in your left hip right now, breathe straight into that space. Slowly release the hands, send that right leg back out, keep that left knee bent. Send it over to the right side, bringing that left arm out into a T. Gaze is over the left fingertips. So nice little supine twist here, just kind of wringing out the spine, creating all the space. Inhale back through center, send that left leg out, shake it out for a second. Feel the difference between your left and your right leg, and start to send that right foot up to the ceiling. Again, you can start at the hamstring, grab the calf, maybe the ankle or the big toes. So no expectations. If you did one thing on the other side and you didn't quite do it on this side, that's fine. So most different sides in our bodies are uneven. This is my not so flexible side. So I normally don't start by grabbing the toes on my right side because it's always much more tight than my left side. So every inhale, find that length through the back of the leg. Every exhale, maybe you find a little bit more space to pull it down towards your chest. Make sure you're engaging that right foot. So we don't want any loosey-goosey feet. Make sure you're flexing those toes down towards your face so it's a nice active stretch. On an exhale, bring that left hand to the left hip. Make sure it's grounded down into the mat. Start to drop that right leg out to the side. Again, you can create that shelf with your right elbow and your hand if you need to, or you can just keep grabbing onto the big toe. Hey, buddy. Check in with your breathing. On an inhale, start to bring that right leg back up, engaging the core. Bend that left knee until your foot is on the mat, and then start to bend the right knee, bringing that right ankle just above the left knee, so creating that figure 4 position with your legs. Start to draw the left knee in towards your chest. Hands can grab onto the shin just below the knee. And this time we're drawing that left knee in towards us, pushing the right knee away from us. So don't let that right knee cave in towards your chest. Remember to try and keep those hips nice and square. So do a quick body scan, start to check in, see how things are feeling on this side compared to the other side. On an inhale, begin to send that left leg back out, releasing the hands. Keep that right knee bent. Send it over to the left side, coming into that twist. Right fingertips stretch out, gaze is over the right hand. Check in with your breathing. Make sure you're allowing yourself to create lots of space along the spine. On an inhale, slowly come back to center. Release that right leg out. Shake out the legs for a minute. And then go ahead and bring both knees into your chest. Give yourself a big hug. Maybe rock side to side for a moment. And then working our way into our last pose, we're going to come into Happy Baby. So you can do a modified version where you take the hands just below the knees, grabbing onto the shins, and then just letting the knees go nice and heavy towards the ground on either side of you. So just allowing gravity to take over. Make sure you're engaging the core, pressing the low back down into the ground. Tailbone is nice and heavy on the mat. If you want to take it into the full variation, keep the exact same form with your low back and tailbone pressing down into the mat. Just start to bring the shins and stack them above the knees, and then hands are going to grab onto the outer edge of the feet, or you can bring peace fingers to big toes. I sometimes do both. But think knees nice and heavy down towards the ground. Drive that tailbone down into the mat. And slowly, wherever you're at, start to release the shins or the feet. Bring the feet down onto the mat, so soles of the feet are going to come to touch, so think butterfly legs. And again, you're just letting gravity take over and letting the knees fall heavy down towards the ground. So we're going to end it with just a nice gentle hip opener. I like to bring my right hand to my heart, left hand to my belly. And I would just encourage you guys to maybe stay in this for the next 4 to 5 minutes to kind of finish up your night and your practice. You can consider a shavasana. You can go into a form of meditation. You can keep the eyes open, maybe focus your gaze on something. You can close the eyes. But whatever you need to do to end your night, Thank you all so much for practicing with me. I hope you had a lovely Monday, and I'll see you all next time.